in the different ways that it takes shape at our companies. But as it was mentioned, I'm Chief Sustainability Officer at MasterCard, and I joined MasterCard 2 years ago, and time flies. I was previously at IBM for a couple of decades, we'll leave it at that. And so very different, coming from 400,000 employees, 100 plus years, to MasterCard, which has about 15,000 employees and has been public a little over a decade. So completely different environments, but it was a brand new position. MasterCard had not had anybody leading sustainability at that point. It doesn't mean they weren't doing great things. There was, which is why I actually came, was because there was lots happening. Nobody was pulling it together strategically at an overall ESG level. And so to me, that was just like I was a kid in a candy store of like, really, I get to do this? This is one space, I get to pull it all together and create a strategy. So a brand new position. It was actually a VP of corporate sustainability at the time, and we were able to, because of the experience that I had at IBM had been doing environmental reporting for 40 years. There's, we had so much kind of systematized. I was able to come into MasterCard and have a lot of great wins. So MasterCard saw the value of that, and within less than a year, elevated and promoted the position to Chief Sustainability Officer.
Great, thank you very much. I'm really pleased to be here. Yeah, this is really fun, a great opportunity, and we're glad to have the opportunity to just talk a little bit about our journey. It's really fun. I think, and thinking about it, I feel like I've kind of grown up in the industry. When I graduated from college, there was no such thing as a sustainability officer. In fact, I remember I went to work for a nonprofit environmental organization, and the idea of an environmental degree was brand new. There were very few of them at colleges at that time. So I worked for an environmental organization. At the same time that this really exciting shift towards recycling was happening, and I went to work for the city of Seattle. And that really was an evolution. I think Seattle kind of got it right in terms of shifting an entire mindset with social behavioral thinking. And it was a really enlightening opportunity for me, and it really kind of hooked me into a different way, a different path. I think many of us don't necessarily know where we're going, but along the way we find our home, and that really worked for me. So I had the good fortune to work to move to a recycling company that was gobbled up by a large national corporation. And what I think is so telling, and so I remind my children of this, who are actually in their late 20s and 30s, which is the growth of an industry is a wonderful time to start with the small and have the opportunity to grow with the large. And I really was able to take the evolution as sustainability grew and changed from environment in the 90s to really a expansion of business opportunity and understanding how it became integrated into the way our company worked. And now the opportunities to drive that through to everybody within the company and our culture has really been exciting. And I think that has really led to the role that I have. The company has increasingly understood the need to have a team leading sustainability at the company. No longer is it something that's done by a person sitting in an office putting reports in every year. Now it's something that we can integrate throughout the company, and that's the role of my team, to be able to really make that culture change throughout the company, as well as to take those programs and be able to communicate them externally to our shareholders and our regulators and our customers outside the company. So it's been a natural evolution, and one that's really resulted in this wonderful opportunity to lead our team to the future of a sustainable business in our industry.
Sure, it's terrific to be in Florida. I don't know if any of you realize that Lockheed Martin is a very large private employer in the state. We have multiple sites from Orlando to Cape Canaveral, where we're building Orion space capsule, to Clearwater, Florida, West Palm Beach, where Sikorsky and some of our radar systems are built and designed. So actually some of my team is based in Florida. As Dan was saying, I actually came to business, let alone sustainability, from about a decade of a career as a business journalist. I was an associate editor at Forbes, and I had also gotten my MBA at a time when opportunity to join Lockheed Martin and support the CFO and the president as their lead strategic communicator. So I had a chance to interact with the team that puts together the earnings script and make recommendations for that stakeholder segment, as well as lead employee communication initiatives, media outreach, shape advertising, so it was a very multifaceted role. And in 2012, there was a board level commitment that a member of the C-suite had made and didn't really share widely, that Lockheed Martin would produce its first sustainability report. And best laid plans sort of went to the side, and I got a call one day and they said, would you do it? So you're familiar with all of the internal departments and constituents that really credibly do the underlying work of sustainability. And you have 8 weeks. So I realized, well, you know, this is sort of an entrepreneurial endeavor and a very large, somewhat bureaucratic organization. So I jumped at the opportunity. And the board's next question, once it got done, was, okay, well, what's your strategy for sustainability? And so the response was, we're going to find someone to develop a strategy for sustainability. And so that's where I got my next position in 2012. It was the second position I held with the company that had never existed before. So white space, lots of opportunities to dot connect, challenge assumptions, you know, really retreading my career as a journalist, understanding data and what kind of linkages were credible and what kind of stories matched the credible linkages. And then, as the dean was saying, you know, when you're successful, I think, in sustainability, you end up building a lot of credibility and your responsibility tends to grow. Sometimes it relates to foundation relations, or sometimes it relates to public affairs or lobbying. And in Lockheed Martin's case, sustainability is a huge component of our corporate governance. I don't even know if corporate governance is a term that's repeated a lot in classrooms in the business school, but it's really a combination of processes that give shareholders, ultimately, assurance that the company is run responsibly, transparently, and free of any interference that could depress shareholder value.